Greetings and salutations. Our humblest, most deepest, most sincerest apologies for our tardiness. We had some problems getting into StreamYard for our stream for today. So I almost said muchos apologizos, but that's not Spanish. This is Jamie Urban. I am filling in today for Arlissa. So we are going to jump right into what we are here to do. Our pre-market Dow futures is up, as well as S&P futures, Nas futures as well. The futures gain as Fed's preferred inflation gauge shows slowing inflation. Slowing inflation. Okay. Asia, all green. Asia topics hits highest since 1990 as Asia Pacific markets rise. Yen hits fresh 38-year low. For Europe, it's mixed, mostly down actually. Only DAX and FTSE are up. CAC, FTSE Milano, and Stock 600 are down. The European stocks move lower as investors digest fresh inflation data. As far as we're concerned, for last reported, everything was up. Oddly enough, VIX was also up. So currently, the VIX is up 0.90%. Okay, 0.90%. That is what's happening. This should be a very interesting Friday. In terms of the market for Adam Mancini, big follow through, SPX off Wednesday, 54.43, 46 long level. My targets were 54.69 hit, 54.82, 87 hit, and 54.93 here. Nothing to do but keep riding those runners until it ends. Plan today, 54.93 is weak, 54.62 is support. If we keep 55.05 through 09, all-time highs are live. So, 54.62 fails. We retest 54.46 again. So 54.62 is what I will be putting on. This is the 15-minute chart, but I'm going to put 54.62 on this chart. 54.62. And we'll put that in red. Solid line. 4 is fine. And we'll just say Mancini. And on the right. And I'll say 54.62. So that is the one that we need to be legit and keep its composure. Otherwise, it continues to drop from there. All right. If you have not been paying attention to SPX, this is what's been going on. The S&P 500, we're on the daily chart. This is October of 2023. This is the run that the S&P 500 has been on. Even on the daily chart, you can see that it's been on an upward trajectory. Now, when you see a run like this, just so you know, there's got to be a take profit somewhere. So here's where it took profit. Here's where it took profit. Right now, it looks like it's consolidating up here at the top. So we are at these all-time high levels right now. This is the monthly higher concentration of prices. So we're at all-time highs here. This is the highest we can get, right? So once you up here, this is where you at. So you may not see any prices to try to go above this consistently. If you do credit spreads, you probably going to see more put credit spread opportunities. So that's what's, that's what's happening. All right. But in terms of our daily chart, that's what we're looking at. Okay, so we got that on the bar. So let's keep it pushing. We're gonna do calendar. Let's do our calendar. Let's see what's going on. And actually, we could do earnings next. So we have 0 things happening. Nothing is being reported. But for those who might want to trade after earnings, put that in quotations. You may want to look at things like FedEx, Micron, from this list, possibly Nike, since it's after earnings. I don't trade earnings in particular, but I will look at something after earnings is over just to check and see what the chart is looking like. But as far as earnings today, nada. Let's take a look at Forex Factory. 6 o'clock this morning, FOMC member Barker spoke. That was a yellow folder. 8:30 a.m., red folder. Core PCE price index month over month. Neutral impact on our Forex Factory, according to the Forex Factory. Personal income month over month was up slightly. That was yellow folder. Personal spending month over month, this was down slightly. And when I say down slightly, I mean in comparison to what was projected. 9:45 Chicago PMI, that's an orange folder. There's no information on that quite yet, of course. 10 a.m., another orange folder, revised University of Michigan consumer sentiment. And the yellow folder is the University of Michigan inflation expectations. Then at noon, we have FOMC member Bowman speaking. If you follow any of these, Forex Factory or investing.com, you'll notice that we see a lot of activity around this 10 o'clock time frame, which we call the 10 o'clock turnaround. When we are looking at our charts, if you are interested in doing any back testing, that would be a great thing to back test, is to see what happens around that 10 o'clock time frame when certain things are announced. This is investing.com. Of course, we got some things over here. Barkin was 1 star over here. We got 3 stars for the core PCE price index month over month and year over year for May. The PCE price index year over year for May was 2 stars, as well as the month over month for May was also 2 stars. This was at 8:30. Neutral impact, personal income, of course, better than projected. It was 1 star over here. Personal spending was 2 stars over here. That was not as high as projected. And then they have real personal consumption month over month for May, which was 1 star. FOMC member Daily spoke at 8:40. That was 2 stars. In 13 minutes, Chicago PMI for June is 3 stars over here. And then we have this run of information. We got 2 stars for the Michigan 1-year inflation expectations for June. And then the 5-year inflation expectations for June, also 2 stars. Then the consumer expectation and the consumer sentiment all for June, all 2 stars. Michigan current conditions for June is 1 star. The Atlanta Fed GDP now, Q2 is 2 stars. And so those other ones are within the hour. And then 11 o'clock, Dallas Fed PCE for May is 1 star. Bowman speaking at noon is 2 stars over here. And then we have our oil and our speculative net positions. So the U.S. Baker Hughes oil rig count is 2 stars. That's at 1 o'clock over here. Then the oil rig count is 2 stars over here. This, I will not go through all of these because this is a nice lengthy list. but these are all happening at 3:30, and the majority of these are 1 stars for these net positions, speculative positions, but there are some 2 stars in here during that same time frame. All right, so this is your gold, aluminum, corn, crude oil, that kind of stuff as well. Again, this stuff is cyclical, meaning it happens every month as well. So that is something that we all do see on a regular basis. If you have any tickers that you want looked at, feel free to drop the tickers. Good morning, Ward. Good morning, Lady T. Good morning, Janae. Good morning, Arlissa. Oh, Janae, thank you very much. Truly appreciate it. All Sports Tees. Good morning. All right. So this is what we got for up close version of SPX. We had a gap up over here, June 11th, and it looks like it's been trying to push up ever since. So I had heard, it looks like online some people were trying to be, I guess you could say, Evil Knievel, and we're doing call credit spreads. Not sure that's so wise. This is the MACD. This up here is the moving averages, and this is still showing support. 921 and 200. So it's still showing support, even though it's kind of pinned up against this next level. It is overbought on the RSI, and the MACD, it is starting to cross. So this will be something to watch, and this is where Mancini numbers will start coming into play. In terms of the numbers that we received. All right. If nobody, I haven't seen any tickers yet, so we will go right on over here to we got SPX, so we're good on that. I would say in terms of SPX, there's a gap right here that I would be watching because I'll be using that gap to my advantage. This is on the daily chart. Whoops. So there's a gap right here. A nice size gap, 53.76 to 54.04. My expectation would be if it comes down and hits this again, unless there's some serious pressure, I wouldn't expect this to just blow right through there. So I'll be looking at like I said, I'll be looking at put credit spreads as opposed to call credit spreads. The Daredevils can do whatever they like in that regard. This is Fibonacci extension. It was referenced on yesterday. 76%. So what this is telling me is to definitely keep an eye on where it is right now, because on the Fibonacci extension, this is mathematical, of course, but the fact that it has hit the 76%, bounced off of it, and is now retesting it, this is a level to watch, because it could go either way. It could bounce off or it could continue up. But this is, to me, a strong enough level in terms of the numbers. 54.96 is close to 5,500, which I would assume would be considered a psychological number in terms of the zone or the range of numbers that it is near. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. All right. So what we got for today is GE Google. Thank you, Carmen. Appreciate it. GE Google and Triple Q. GE Google and Triple Q. Let's do GE Google Triple Q. Bringing good things to life, player. All right, so we're on the daily chart. The first thing I notice is this pattern. This looks like a bullish flag, don't it? Or a triple top. I guess it could be either one of these. Triple top probably might be more likely. The pole is coming from here to here, and it's bouncing in here. I would think this would be the neckline. Could be either one of those, right? In terms of, dude, this monthly chart is crazy, bro. Y'all going through it right now. This is a crazy drop right here. Woo. They've been doing some things. All right, so I have more of a range on my amount of time too, so I kind of look a little bit further back. But if you're doing from 2021, they've been on a run up. They're not at all-time highs or anything like that. They still got some time to go before they were to do the all-time highs. But what I do notice about this chart is even if we look at the past 5 years, you really don't see a lot of strong zones in terms of the traditional, leg in, base, leg out. I mean, you could force something here. You could probably put these two in the base for a leg in, two in the base, leg out type situation. But in terms of just your standard, even on the monthly chart, in terms of your standard formations that we're used to seeing, none of those actually jump out on this GE chart. It makes me wonder. What the let me see. I just want to see what the ATR is. What's the ATR for GE? GE's ATR is okay. So this is a 4.09. All right. That's interesting. I'm used to seeing, I would have thought this was like to me, this moves like a chart that has less, like a lower ATR. They usually, at least the ones that I see, usually don't have the clearest monthly zones. But if you're doing a traditional, leg in, base, leg out is what I would do right here. If I was charting this a traditional way, right? So I would consider this to be in between. I was going this route. Technically, what I would be charting here is I'll be doing this one as the leg in, two on the base, leg out. And I raised it up here because this is a neighboring candle, and I want to include that in the zone. However, you could just as easily do this and have this as the leg in, three in the base, leg out. You want to do it that way. Personally, I wouldn't be mad either way. I do like a longer leg in. What throws everything off is this middle candle that is pretty much longer than your leg in if you choose to do this one. But that's a pretty long leg in. If you're I'm sorry, that's a pretty long base candle right there. But if you are only just doing like the zones and you're not doing like a regular traditional candle formation, I'll be putting this right here for the daily. Right. You want to just do these and just mark the range of where it went. Something like that. Even if you want to go up a little bit higher. I don't see why that wouldn't be a problem. If you were just marking where the areas are. Either way, it's still in between buyer zone, seller zone for right now. All right. So me personally, if I was looking at this, I would be waiting to see what happens with GE. But since this looks like it's stuck in this channel, 153. It's probably not going to be any premiums right now. Yeah. So you have to go further out. So 152.5. That's what I'll be looking at. Want to see what the premiums are. So this is the 2.5 spread, and be 21 cents. I don't know if, I mean, again, I'll wait to see what happens at open and at morning push and see which direction it goes. Obviously, you can increase the amount that you want. This wouldn't even be 10%, just based on your premium wouldn't even be 10%. But again, it's sitting right in the middle, so I'm pretty sure, depending on how this moves, that will be an iron condor opportunity for some people. It'll definitely be something to look at, just to watch it and see. I don't know if anybody is in this trade, but that's what I see as a potential move. If you were going above 167, is about, I see a little bit more, 0.26. That's 10%, but again, it's going to fluctuate as price moves. But the way it looks to me, if I was looking at GE, that would be a potential iron condor opportunity. That's what I would be looking at. But it's definitely in this channel. I will definitely be keeping an eye on this, because if this is, at least for the next week, looks like it takes a little bit of a while to get to the seller zone and the buyer zone. So the breakout might not happen, let's say, in 2 or 3 days, but the way this is channeling, at some point there's going to have to be a breakout for that GE. But that's what I'll be looking at in terms of GE. I don't know if somebody's in it and have a particular strike that they're looking at, but that's what I will be looking at right there. This is Google. This should be at all-time highs right now, right? Well, put that in quotations. So they're up there too. See, what I do, this is not investment, none of this is investment advice, but what I do is when I see that it's at all-time highs, the two things that I do is just automatically assume that this is going to be a put credit spread if I'm messing with this. But the other thing that's important in this situation is realizing when you are at all-time highs, you don't know where the take profit is going to be. The take profit here was 176, and I'm just going by what the high was because this is what turned it around. So somebody had to start taking profit, right? 179 right here and 187, right? So somebody is taking profit here, but as you look at what's happening, since this is all-time high numbers, you don't know where these extra numbers may end up being, where people are going to take profit. So even in the put credit spread opportunity, you still have to keep an eye on that. Because if they decide to take profit while you are in the room in a certain spot, that can slam right through there. Thank you, Ward. I don't know who the person was that announced it was my birthday. I don't get online and be like, hey, y'all, it's my birthday. I never do that. But thank you very much for the birthday wishes. We are at 100% retracement right now on the monthly for Google. So this is an area where I will be watching to see whether it would bounce off and, over the next month or some change to see if it'll drop or keep pushing up. But again, looking at the monthly chart, let's see here. Got two of these on here. All right. Let's see. So I'll be looking for, there's a gap right here. I see you could say traditional leg in, base leg out here, but no actual anything else on the weekly in terms of what I would mark. That's not to say that I wouldn't trade it. That is to say to do some serious looking for, if I'm looking for specific zones or anything to mark, because in this case it has some gaps that it created, like right here, and we know that gaps can provide support and resistance. So, oops, this is on the daily chart. And slide it there. So we know we have that in terms of support and resistance. And it looks like it's trying to retrace, but of course, this is early in the day. This is as close to, I guess you could say, a chair formation or something like that as you're probably going to get up here. Google probably might have some premiums left, but we'll see. Nope. Let's go to next week. That's too close. 185. You don't want to mess with that. So let's go with 181. And I'm taking current price and subtracting this volatility number. So I'll be looking to see 181, 180. This is a 2.5 spread. Nope. Now you can always increase this this number to get more premiums, but that's one way of doing it, or you can get closer depending on how you want to do that. But 180 as of right now anyway. I mean, I would also wait until the dust settles a little bit and that the day kind of pushes way through to 10 o'clock. But I'll be looking at this 180 number in here for a put credit spread. For Google, I know that there's plenty of people who will be going for a call credit spread above it. That is where you would get more than 10% for that premium. The reason why I would be skeptical with Google about doing a call credit spread while we're still at these highs and it's still looking for its highs is because there's a lot of news with Google and in terms of the quantum space, AI, I mean all that stuff. And I don't even mean negative news, I just mean news in general. And sometimes that stuff can cause it to gap up. So without it having its, to me, it's still trying to find its levels up here. I mean, it's running up, but I'll feel like a put credit spread would be safer in these situations. That's just me. Okay, I am Chicken Little when it comes to this kind of stuff. So let's take a look at SPX. We're gonna mark the 15-minute zones for those who do the 15-minute breakout. And let's go here. So it has broken out a little bit from its 15-minute candle. And like it's trying to push out of there. So usually what people do, different people handle this breakout differently, but there's some people who get in right now. I like to wait until I see either a strong push out or it comes out and then retraces and let me at least see what's happening, because we've seen this come out. You'll see maybe one or two candles that'll stay about the same level and then it'll drop back down. So some of that has to do with this 10 o'clock turnaround as well. So we'll see. That's another reason why I kind of wait to see what's going to happen at 10 o'clock, 10:15, 10:30-ish, before I try to enter anything. This is the gap. I'm just marking the gap where it gapped down. And then, so we're going to wait and see. And then I usually mark, well, in this case, it's SPX, so you might not see too much, but I usually will mark the resistance above where I currently am, just so I'll know what levels might be getting hit. So in this case, this was the previous resistance, so I just marked it just to give me an idea of what could happen right here. So it has broken out, but it's still figuring itself out right there. All right. We got triple Q. I believe PM is Philip Morris. So I'm gonna put down. All right. We're in the tech stocks. Now this should look familiar. Because everything is running up. Here's a nice buyer zone formation right here on the monthly for triple Q. That's a nice one there. This was a seller zone that informed that it has broken past as well. If you look at a lot of tech stocks, you probably see they all look rather similar. The market is running up and needs to find its level. There was a retrace recently on Triple Q. This is a seller zone that it looks like it's trying to make its way back to. There's a gap right here. And let's see. We'll do two. Gap right here. And this up here is a level where it has retested this a few days, a couple days apart. So I definitely want to keep an eye on that. Right. Again, there's plenty of versions of Triple Q. You do have support right here, right? If this is resist this, if you were to chart this as a regular leg in, base, leg out, this would be heading into its seller zone, right? If we were to just to show you what I mean, if we were just to do a regular leg in, base, leg out, it's in the seller zone right now. So there are plenty of people who would, of course, use this as resistance under the assumption that, this might be strong enough for it to turn around. Some people will probably look at an iron condor in this situation, even though it's in the seller zone. This support is relatively close. There's quite a few schools of thought there. It's Triple Q. I would be skeptical again of call credit spreads right now, just because there's enough stuff happening in the tech space. Again, not necessarily negative, but with NVIDIA acquiring companies and Google making adjustments to its AI, Amazon just decided to roll out it's working on the AI that it wants to compete with ChatGPT. All of that stuff can cause a gap up or gap down. But I would think it would be more so a gap up with some of this news that comes out positive. Not guaranteed, but so I would be more so looking at the put credit spread in these situations. Let's see what 480 is looking like. So this will be 480. You can go 479, but this is 79% out the money. And this is a one spread, 17 cents. So that's more than 10% return, your premium for your more than 10% return on collateral. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. For you daredevils, this is 80% out the money. That would be 19 cents right there if you were getting in. But again, we still have some activity that we need to be aware of that could change this. So I'll be looking at about 10, 30, 10, 15, 10, 20 before I start trying to get into anything. But definitely put credit spread I will be looking at. Philip Morris. So let's see what Phil got. See what Uncle Phil got. So if you're looking at Philip Morris, be aware of what's happening with, is it called Altria? Because I think Altria is in that same space, and they've been making some moves as well, which is I think their competition, right? On the monthly chart, this is basically in the channel. So it's basing sideways. To be honest with you, it looks like it's trying to break out right here. So this might be the time frame where like it's trying to do something on the monthly. Weekly, at least you have a seller zone, leg in, base, leg out right there. Let's open this up. I don't know. You could, cause if you leg in, two in the base, leg out. I wouldn't have a problem considering this a buyer zone. Even if we didn't chart this as a chair, these two candles with this indecision right here, I still would be marking this area. Even if I didn't necessarily chart it as a chair, I would still mark it as a area of significance on the weekly. I was charting this. But this is a buyer zone down here. So seller zone, buyer zone. So at least we got some clear zones from that perspective. Then it's a nice buyer zone right here. This is leg in, base, leg out. Now what gets ugly is the seller zone, depending on how you define ugly, but you could do leg in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Be 5 in the base and a leg out. That's the first thing that I see in terms of what will be clear, candle formations. I've seen people chart all kinds of stuff. Cheer, leg in, 1, 2, 3, 3 in the base, leg out, which would put this in a seller zone anyway. If these 3 were in the base, that means that all of this would be in the seller zone. So I've seen that done both ways. But it does look like it's trying to retrace right now at the end of the day. So in this case, let's see if we went with chair theory. Oops. We went with the chair theory. It would look like this. So it would have looked something like this when it was leg in, 3 in the base, leg out. So that's how it would have been charted. So this would have been coming into here and possibly being pushed out if the chair is what was being focused on for your seller zone. The buyer zone would be right here. I don't know if somebody's in this right now, so I'm just doing it from the perspective of what I see on the chart right now. And this is wrong. So leg in, base, leg out. This was the cheer. Sorry about that. A bit of something like that. This could still be considered a zone on top of zone, if that's the case. And then this up here will be the next seller zone. And I always aim for a strong leg out, personally. So to me, this would be considered a weak seller zone. So I don't see any reason why I couldn't just push out of there. Let's go for July 5th. 3. I don't see a lot of movement. I wonder, is the ATR low on this? So this is a one spread. One spread. This will be 10% if you're going for call credit spread. It is leaving the seller zone. So I went above it for the call credit spread since it is dropping out. So to go 2 weeks out, what I saw was 10 cents, which is 10% return on collateral. Not bad. Oh, congratulations, Janae. She said she was able to get out of ELF. Woo, that thing has been a thorn in her side. What is my cash app? Is you got to do $ on that? Take you to trader. Take you to trader. Oh, cash app was take you to trader. Is it $ or @ I don't know which one it is, but take it to trader is what it is. Okay. So that's what we're looking at for Philip Morris. But again, let's see. Yeah, it's called that MO. I couldn't remember what the ticker was. But if you're looking at Philip Morris, Altria, I believe, is one that you should also look at. Not in terms of trading it, but I'm saying, if something happens with Altria, they may trade in tandem at times. They're competitors, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so let's swing back to SPX and see if it broke out. What it did. Woo! Check that out. All right. I already know where I'm going. I'm going right on over here. Now, this is one thing that I noticed. I don't know if anybody else has seen this on Thinkorswim. In the sim, after a certain time, I've been noticing that you can't get in to do like a 0 DTE. So like I can't do a 0 DTE for today. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but I have seen that quite a few times. And I thought it was a fluke until recently. So if I was trading the breakout, what I would be doing is I will be going for somewhere in here. 70 cents is fine. Because it's pushing up, so I'll be doing put credit spread. Let's see what happens. YouTube. I do not trade SPX anymore. I do XSP. So this was 80 cents that I got. So 500 minus 80 is 420. All right, I usually do 45 cents that I want for profit. So 465. So when I invert these legs, this was 54.75. I bought, so I'm selling. And I am buying on this leg. 465. All right. Say good to cancel. I'm doing the PDT hack. So if this locks, it will lock that in for July 1st. So this locks today. That means when it expires on July 1st, I've already locked in the money. This created on the 15-minute chart, it created a chair in the buyer zone. All right. All sports tees says all I do is 0 DTE. I just got it off SPX just now. Awesome. Be honest with you, I'm a huge fan of I like 0 DTE when it's with the when it's with the PDT hack. Safety. I like being comfortable when I'm trading. You understand? This is another example. This is the one that I trade instead of SPX. This is Russell 2000. And for those who trade in the crypto space, you may remember because we've looked at it before. Hut mining, they have been added to the Russell 3000. So that is something that is of note for them. They've been added to Russell 3000. So this is Russell 2000. So it has done some breaking out. This dash line right here is for the 15-minute. I just put some lines in the past. It has touched this line before. So this is how I watch Russell, or this is how I watch any of them, just to see what's happening with the prices. So this solid line is the breakout. This dotted brown line is the 4-hour. So I'm just watching it to see what will end up happening coming up here. But this is a huge gap right here, 2038 to 2047. So that's a $9 gap. So it definitely has turned around at the top of that gap. But I will be watching to see that. This is the one that I do the PDT hack on, is Russell 2000. All right. I think we got everybody who put something in that looks correct. All right. I'm just checking to make sure we haven't missed anybody's ticker. All right. So this looks like it is still trying to push up. And let me see. The one thing I was gonna take a look at here. I like this one better. I just wanted to see what the if there was something 61, 261. So technically there'll be like what, a 178 in between there. 178, 200, 261, something like that. So the ones in between here, I didn't mark them on mine, but there will be levels in between there that could be significant in this situation. I don't have them marked though. So, all right. We are. And let's go here. So earnings, we have nothing going on. Stock market, everything is green for right now. Surprisingly though, the VIX is up slightly to 1225. Normally when we see the VIX up, everything else seems to be dropping, but we see these occasions where it may be up, but not by much. Okay. ETT daily declaration. By faith, I'm a successful trader. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolios. Money likes me because money is comfortable around me. It is drawn to me. E to T, daily prayer. Lord, give us wisdom and knowledge for our trades today. Help us to make smart and lucrative decisions for our portfolios. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Birthday wishes. That was very kind of you. Want you to do two things today. Stay green, get this money. Want you to have a great trading day, of course. And since we still have a little bit of economic activity, just be prepared, okay? We still have couple two-star events between now and noon for investing.com. So we definitely want to be careful, okay? You all have a good one, and we will see you on Monday. Adios.